नमस्ते तपाईं अहिले हेरिरहनु भएको छ मुनामदन क्रिएसन म त हेर्छु तपाईं नि हेर्ने हैन ल
अस्ट्रेलियाका लागि नवनियुक्त राजदूत महेश दाहाललाई पेन्सर्स नेप्लिस कम्युनिटी सिडनीले स्वागत गरेको सामग्री आज हामीले मुनामदन क्रिएसनमा जोडेका छौं। विशेषतः अस्ट्रेलियाको सिडनीमा रहेका नेपाली र उनीहरूसँग जोडिएका विभिन्न विषयवस्तुलाई आधार बनाएर हामीले यो युट्युब च्यानल सुरु गरेका छौं। कृपया हाम्रो च्यानललाई सब्स्क्राइब गरी हाम्रा सामग्रीहरूलाई लाइक, कमेन्ट तथा शेयर गरेर साथ दिनुहोला। अब लागौं विषयवस्तुतर्फ। विषयवस्तु हो अस्ट्रेलियाको सिडनीमा आयोजित कार्यक्रमको र अस्ट्रेलियाका लागि नवनियुक्त राजदूत महेश दाहाललाई पेन्सर्स नेप्लिस कम्युनिटी सिडनीले स्वागत गरेको छ। राजदूतसँगै अस्ट्रेलियाका अध्यागमन, नागरिकता तथा बहुसांस्कृतिक मन्त्री डेभिड कोलम्यान तथा गैरआवासीय नेपाली सङ्घ केन्द्रका उपाध्यक्ष मन केसीलाई बधाई दिन आयोजना गरिएको कार्यक्रममा बोल्दै मन्त्री कोलम्यानले अस्ट्रेलियामा बस्ने नेपालीहरूको प्रशंसा गरेका छन्। मन्त्री कोलम्यानले अन्तर्राष्ट्रिय विद्यार्थी अन्तर्गत नेपाली विद्यार्थीहरूको आगमनले अस्ट्रेलियाको समग्र अर्थतन्त्रको उन्नतिमा सकारात्मक प्रभाव परेको बताए। पेन्सर्स नेप्लिस कम्युनिटीका अध्यक्ष लक्ष्मण श्रेष्ठको अध्यक्षतामा भएको कार्यक्रममा बोल्दै कोलम्यानले सदैव नेपाली समुदायसँग सहकार्य गरी अगाडि बढ्ने बताए। उनको चुनाव जितेपछि नेपाली समुदायसँगको यो पहिलो कार्यक्रम हो। मन्त्री कोलम्यानले नेपाली समुदायको भवन निर्माणका लागि प्रक्रिया पुर्याएर 10 लाख अस्ट्रेलियन डलर निकासी गर्न पहल गर्न लागेको बताए।
Going to Nepal and visiting Nepal, and that has helped to bind our two nations, and the 50 plus years of diplomatic relations is really a testament to that. And we see that as well in international students. So Australia's international education market is one of the most important export industries for Australia. It's up there every year in the top 3 or 4 export industries in Australia. It generates more than $35 billion in export income.
सो कार्यक्रममा सहभागी अस्ट्रेलियाका लागि नेपाली राजदूत महेश दाहालले नेपाली समुदायको समग्र हितको निम्ति अबको यात्रा हुने बताएका छन्। राजदूत दाहालले मन्त्री डेभिडलाई बधाई दिँदै आफू सधैँ सहकार्य गर्न तयार रहेको बताए।
Emissaries with the major responsibilities of coordinating with diaspora. I look forward to working with you all, community organization and each and every member of Nepali diaspora.
यसैगरी न्यू साउथ वेल्सका लागि महावाणिज्य दूत दीपक खड्काले अब काठमाडौँबाटै नेपालीले भिसा पाउने वातावरण हुनुपर्नेमा जोड दिएका थिए। गैरआवासीय नेपाली सङ्घ केन्द्रका उपाध्यक्ष मन केसीले विश्वभर छरिएर रहेका सबै नेपालीहरूको समग्र हितको निम्ति आफू सदैव तत्पर रहने बताए। प्रस्तुत छ मुनामदन क्रिएसनका लागि विमला भट्टले तयार पारेको भिडियो सामग्री अब हामीले प्रस्तुत गर्दैछौँ। झन्डै 1 घण्टा लामो यो भिडियो विशेषतः पेन्सर्समा आयोजना गरिएको कार्यक्रम जुन पेन्सर्स नेप्लिस कम्युनिटीले आयोजना गरेको थियो, यो कार्यक्रमको पूर्ण अंश अब हामी तपाईलाई जोड्दैछौँ।
हेलो एन्ड नमस्ते, दिस इज मी अनमोल केसी र तपाईहरु हेर्दै हुनुहुन्छ मुनामदन क्रिएसन। लाइक, शेयर एन्ड सब्स्क्राइब।
जिम्मेवारी भरिएको शान्त मानव हो, प्रसन्न हुनुहोस्। अब बिस्तारै हातलाई मुद्रामा राख्नुहोस्। If you can, place your palm in yoga mudra. Touch your index finger and thumb together so that we can revitalize, re-energize our bodily energy and chant the peace, divine vibrational word Om followed by Om Shanti. The Om is the first vibrational word of this universe. हामी सबैजना त्यो दिव्य ऊर्जामय शब्द ओमलाई 3 पटक उच्चारण गरेर ओम शान्ति भन्दै शान्तपूर्ण भावमा यो कार्यक्रमलाई हामी अगाडि बढाउँछौँ। सबैजना दीर्घ श्वास ल्याएर फेरि ओमलाई उच्चारण गरौँ एकैसाथ। participants here, Lina Shrestha, Samragji Bhandari, Samita Sapota, Anya Shrestha, Shreya Paure. They are showing love, kindness and auspiciousness. This khada is from Nepal and this is customary to welcome our respected guests. Now in the meantime, as I mentioned that we are here today to celebrate success, to congratulate and to share the happiness. When we do anything, when you give observers as well. So may I request the presidents of this Nepalese penshurst community to offer the token of love and also the flowers and welcoming things. As served as a member of parliament for Banks since 2013. So I would like to request to stand up and play.
Thanks for accepting to run our program today. Honorable Immigration, Citizenship and Multicultural Affairs Minister David Coleman, His Excellency Nepalese Ambassador to Australia Maheshra Adhaju, Honorable Consulate General of New South Wales Kipa Parkaju, our Global Vice Chairman Manakishiju, Nepal Australian Association Chairman Dr. Madhupurasiniju, FENCA representative, and Nepalese Recreational Club Chairman Vishnu Amadju, our NRMA Australia Vice Chairman Dev Gurungju, all our respected community leaders. This is not only a common meeting, this is very special meeting today. We have got our 3 different leaders who have very recently appointed for different in different area. We would like to work together. We would like to work together with them for the well-being of our community in the future. We would like to welcome them here. This is a very special moment. We are here. We are very privileged to be here with this special moment with our special leader, David Coleman, who has been recently elected 3rd time in a row in the federal parliament. We are very pleased to find David as immigration minister from our area. We would like to congratulate him for his portfolio, and we would like to work together for the well-being of our community. We have got our Excellency Ambassador from Nepal, all the way from Canberra. We found him here. This is his first meeting attending. That's why we are very privileged to find him here in our community. Even our penshurst community, the small community, but because of their gracious presence, this is a very special moment. Thanks for coming, and I would like to welcome you and I wish for his successful tenure in Australia. And in his leadership, we would like to work together to make our Nepalese community better in the future. You are our link to connect between our homeland Nepal and our new lady Australia. We would like to work together in the future. Similarly, we have got our Global Vice Chairman Manakishiju. He is our community member as well, but we find him here. He is our global leader, representing more than 5 million people globally, which has been our NRMA has been 70 countries. I would like to congratulate him for his new position, which is very precious for our community to find him in our area. From from his leadership experience, we would like to work together in the future to make our community in a new height in the coming days. Thanks for coming, and I would like to congratulate you for his tenure. Similarly, we have got our Consul General. We don't need to take his name. Everyone knows he's so approachable. Every time I invite him, he will present. He will hear all the time, everywhere, not in my community. I found him is a very different, very committed, very helpful resource person. We are motivated from him. I think this program, if he was not here, maybe we will be doing somewhere in the next time. But he graciously accepted our invitation, and we are doing this program. So I would like to thank for his gracious presence, and we would like to continue with that. Similarly, we have got our distinguished community leader. We are getting their advice, suggestion in the future, and we will be capitalizing their help to make our program better in the future. Thanks for your attendance, and we have got our other leader as well. We, Nepalese community, established in 2014 with the main objective of running the Nepalese classes for our second generation kids. My friend is going to deliver some of the activity in a later presentation. I don't want to go in detail, but I would like to talk some of the important things very briefly. We, Nepalese community, are running our Nepalese classes for our English classes for our parents. We are running some program in a different area. We have been working with other community together to share our experience, to share our knowledge, so that we can work in the future to other our broader Australian society. And David is a resource person to provide information. He is, because we are, this is our new home and we need information, and David is a resource person to provide information. So I would like to thank David for his generous help. I think he is one of the true leader, and then he is helping since I know from 2013 all the way to this point, and I hope he will be helping in the future as well. David, I don't need to take his name. I think this is a very common name as our attorney told us. He's not very, I don't want to go more detail, just I want to give one example in front of our community. David not only preached to provide $1 million to our community, but he not only preached to provide $1 million to our community, but we have got that $1 million to make a building in our area, in our local area. So I would like to ask all of you to give him a big round of applause for his great contribution. I hope our next meeting will be in our own house next time. So I would like to recognize his contribution, his commitment, and we would like to work together in the future. And I hope in his leadership, our community will be in the next height. So I would like to thank you. I'm not going to go into detail. We have got some other speakers as well. So I would like to remember all the hard work, commitment to make this program happen. I would like to remember all of our parents, grandparents, kids who have been working on from the last few weeks to make this program a great success. Finally, I would like to congratulate again to our great community leader in this historic meeting, I should say. There are no more words. I'm finishing my things with 2 words. So, I would like to congratulate again for your unique role. You have our great community that has been elected in different areas to serve our community. So I would like to congratulate them. And then
time दिएर एकदमै कार्यक्रम सक्सेस पार हुने हाम्रो
penshurst Nepalese community for inviting me to comment on the state of Nepalese community integration in Australia. This was actually the subject that was communicated to me informally. I feel actually privileged to be speaking to such a distinguished panel of guests and fellow community members. अब यो बिचबिचमा अलिकति नेपाली पनि बोल्नुपर्छ जस्तो लाग्दैछ मलाई हैन म अलिकति इम्पोर्टेन्ट मेसेजहरु आएपछि चाहिँ नेपालीमा पनि म कुरा गर्छु. Before I begin, I would like to take this opportunity to personally congratulate the penshurst Nepalese community to have such a wonderful opportunity to celebrate the success of leaders we have been so close to your hearts and minds. Congratulations, Mr. David Coleman, for being appointed as the Federal Minister for Immigration, Citizenship, Migrant Services and Multicultural Affairs. I am delighted to congratulate Mr. Mahesh Raj Dahal for assuming the role of Nepalese Ambassador to Australia. My heartfelt congratulations also to Mr. Monakesi for winning the Global Vice President position of NRNA in the recent elections held in Kathmandu, Nepal. Being conscious of time limit, I need to come back to my topic now. As the Master of Ceremony mentioned, my primary area of research is how communities interact with natural environment such as forest and water, and the policies and institutions for sustainable development. But then more recently, I have also been involved with different community organizations here in Australia, the diasporic communities and their dynamics, and trying to understand how they function and how they try to integrate here with Australian society. And then as part of this this presentation, I also did a little bit of review of literature around immigration with respect to Australia and also generally from outside in the Western world. So based on this, I am going to share a few observations around how community integration is taking place or should take place for inclusive and harmonious society. I would like to actually highlight three things. First, what strengths are driving the Nepalese community. Australia को नेपाली समाज को नेपाली कम्युनिटी को स्ट्रेंथहरु के हो भन्ने कुरामा म अलिकति राख्न चाहन्छु. And then secondly, what challenges this community is facing. यसले फेस गरेका चुनौतीहरु यो कम्युनिटीका चुनौतीहरु अस्ट्रेलियामा के छन् भन्ने कुरा पनि म अलिकति राख्न चाहन्छु. र तेस्रो कुरा चाहिँ the third point is what are the opportunities around us that can be acted upon, that can be taken up by communities, by the government and by business and by everyone concerned with creating a harmonious and inclusive community integration in Australia. त्यसो हुँदाखेरि थर्ड कुरो चाहिँ अब हामीसँग के अपर्च्युनिटीहरु छ भन्ने कुरा म राख्न चाहन्छु. Let's talk about strengths of Nepalese community. The first key strength, as I found in my research and my observation and in my interaction with community organizations here in Australia, is that Nepalese community in Australia is one of the most vibrant, young, rapidly growing communities, which is making significant contribution to Australia's multicultural heritage, economy and international reputation. भन्नुको अर्थ चाहिँ हाम्रो नेपाली समाज जुन चाहिँ अस्ट्रेलियामा यसले चाहिँ अस्ट्रेलियाको समग्र सामाजिक, सांस्कृतिक, आर्थिक र अन्तर्राष्ट्रिय इज्जत प्रतिष्ठामा समेत एक खालको चाहिँ योगदान चाहिँ दिइराखेको अवस्था छ. Let me present some numbers to support this claim. This number may be boring, but sometimes it is really important to look into the numbers as well. According to the data from Australian Bureau of Statistics and the Department of Home Affairs, Nepali community is the fastest growing among the top 50 countries of birth based on the data between 2006 and 2016 with an annual growth rate of 27.8%. भन्नुको अर्थ चाहिँ यो डाटाले गभर्नमेन्टको डाटाले यहाँको के भन्छ त भन्दाखेरि 50 वटा बाहिरबाट आएका समुदायहरूको तथ्याङ्कहरूलाई एकै ठाउँ राखेर हामीले विश्लेषण गरियो भने नेपाली समुदाय चाहिँ सबैभन्दा बढी दरले बढ्ने समुदायको रूपमा चाहिँ यहाँ पाइएको छ. र त्यो 2006 देखि सन् 2006 देखि 2016 सम्मको टाइम स्प्यानलाई हामीले हेर्ने हो भनेदेखि चाहिँ 28% को दरले वार्षिक रूपमा चाहिँ बढिराखेको चाहिँ देखिन्छ. Nepali community is also younger than other overseas born population. The median age of the Nepali born in 2016 was 29 years compared with 44 years for all overseas born and compared with 38 years for the total Australian population. अब यो डाटाले चाहिँ के भन्छ त भन्दाखेरि हाम्रो नेपाली समुदायको औसत उमेर चाहिँ अरु बाहिरबाट आउने आप्रवासीहरू भन्दा पनि हामी कान्छो छौं र अस्ट्रेलियाको औसत उमेर भन्दा पनि हामी कान्छो छौं। कान्छो भएर एकदमै केटाकेटी पनि छैनौं। हामी 29 वर्षको छौं हामी सरदरमा र 29 वर्षको उमेर भनेको चाहिँ एकदमै जल्दो बल्दो खाइलाग्दो जाँगर भएको उमेर हो। So this 29 years of average age of Nepalese community means that Nepali community has tremendous energy and enthusiasm that comes with such a younger age. So there are quite a few statistics. Actually, I don't want to go with all of these considering time limit. What I would also like to highlight is the Nepalese community, the diaspora, Nepalese diaspora is growing globally, and there is an estimate which says that about 4 million people of Nepalese origin live in more than 50 countries. And if we look at the past 3-4 years of dynamics around how this global non-resident Nepalese organization is organized, Australian community is actually providing the leadership role to the entire global NRNA community. And as a proof, we have here Mr. Monokesi, who has just been elected as the global vice chair. So he is a member of this specific local community here, but then at the same time, the leader of the global NRNA community. So this is also a really good strength of Nepalese community in Australia. अब यो चाहिँ अघि हाम्रो भीमसेनजीले नै भनिसक्नु भयो हैन, मनकेसी चाहिँ त्यो अन्तर्राष्ट्रिय संस्थाको पनि उहाँ चाहिँ उपाध्यक्ष हो र उहाँ चाहिँ यही स्थानीय समुदायको पनि सदस्य हो। त्यस अर्थमा यहाँको नेपाली समुदाय चाहिँ अन्तर्राष्ट्रिय नेपाली समुदायलाई समेत नेतृत्व प्रदान गर्ने क्षमता राख्छ भन्ने कुरा चाहिँ देखाउँछ। यो सबै कुरा चाहिँ मैले एउटा भने हैन, एउटा स्ट्रेन्थको कुरा गरेँ। So all of these correspond to my one category of strength. The second category of strength is its capability to make significant contribution to Australian economy. Not only in the sphere of society and culture and community, but also in the sphere of economy, the contribution of Nepalese community in Australia is very, very strong. Nepal is the third largest source of country for international students after China and India. We all know that. And last year data shows that Nepalese students in Australia constituted 7% of the total overseas student population in Australia. This is a significant contribution to Australia's $34 billion export value of coming from the education sector. So यो पोइन्टले मैले के भन्न खोजेको त भन्दाखेरि अस्ट्रेलियाको इकोनोमीमा शिक्षा क्षेत्रको ठुलो योगदान छ। 34 अर्ब डलरको योगदान शिक्षा क्षेत्रको रहेको छ र नेपाली स्टुडेन्टहरु चाहिँ 7% त्यो सेक्टरमा छ हैन। भन्नुको अर्थ चाहिँ करिब 7% त्यो 34 अर्बको करिब 7% योगदान चाहिँ हाम्रो नेपाली क्षेत्रबाट भएको छ र त्यसको अर्थ चाहिँ नेपाली कम्युनिटीको चाहिँ अस्ट्रेलियाको अर्थतन्त्रमा चाहिँ ठुलो कन्ट्रिब्युसन हो भन्ने कुरा चाहिँ यो सरकारी तथ्याङ्कले देखाउँछ। And then of course Nepali born persons are actually setting up new business in all sectors of the economy. We can see all business coming up, well established, operating well, delivering well in different areas including education, finance and accounting, food and restaurant, IT, retail, butchery, beauty and personal care and so on. And of course we don't have up-to-date data on how all these activities led by, run by Nepalese community in Australia are going on. We don't have data, and this is actually something we need to do. And then more recently, I have seen the trend of Nepalese diaspora going back to Nepal and investing in different sectors, agriculture, education, technology, hospitality industries. So that is also a good thing in relation to building people-to-people network between homeland Nepal and the diasporic communities here in Australia. And so all of these strengths can be an important consideration for public policy makers and community leaders to advance further how communities can prosper here in Australia. Okay, the third major strength is that Nepali-born person enjoy a long-term state-to-state relationship between Nepal and Australia. The relationship is not just between community to community, people and people. There is also a long-term relations between two states, Nepal and Australia, and that actually enables and fosters community-to-community cooperation and then strengthen the diasporic community here in Australia. Australia and Nepal recently celebrated 50 years of diplomatic relations. And as a Nepali, I first experienced Australian sense of friendship and collegiality when I came in contact with an Australian-funded forestry project in early 90s. Australia had supported Nepal to reforest Himalayan slopes after the globally infamous Himalayan crisis of the 60s. Today, Australia is a highly respected partner in Nepal's forest and environment sector. Its local communities harvest plantations, undertaken that time, and start earning money by selling those plantations in a sustainable way. Australia has also supported Nepal in the fields of education, health, hydroelectricity, civil aviation, and livestock and grain management. Australia has also been an active supporter of Nepal in its recovery from disastrous earthquake in 2015. मैले यो पोइन्टमा के भने त भन्दाखेरि अस्ट्रेलियाले चाहिँ नेपाललाई विभिन्न हिसाबले सहायता, अनुदान, प्राविधिक सहयोग यस्तो कुराहरू चाहिँ गर्दै आएको छ र तपाईहरुमध्ये कतिलाई थाहा पनि होला पुरानो एउटा अस्ट्रेलियन वन परियोजना भन्ने बानेश्वरमा चाहिँ अफिस थियो त्यसको त्यसले चाहिँ काभ्रे सिन्धु जिल्लामा चाहिँ वृक्षारोपणहरू गर्न सहयोग गरेर वन र वातावरणको क्षेत्रमा ठूलो सहयोग पुर्याएको थियो. टाइम 2 मिनेट. Okay, these are the strengths. Despite these strengths, Nepali community in Australia is also facing a number of challenges. So these challenges, I would just like to highlight a few. The first challenge is finding skilled jobs with competitive salary. The statistics says that Nepalese community have generally the higher education level than the migrants, than even I think the average Australian, but their average salary level is lower than the average salary level of the Australian. So this sort of dilemma, why someone who is having higher level of education not getting corresponding level of income. This actually indicates that there is problem for Nepalese professionals to get into skill job market. So this is one challenge, and this challenge is not just particularly true to the case of Nepalese community. This is generally the case for different migrant communities, as the statistics say, which I am not going to go into the detail. The second challenge is ensuring new migrants get utmost assistance, support and guidance from the older communities. So what I see here is a sort of temporal gradation of communities. Those who came 30 years ago, those who came 20 years ago became well established, and all the way to those who are just coming and applying for permanent residence and becoming citizens and then settling. So how do we ensure smooth cooperation and supportive relationship between these different categories of migrants with different sort of strength and capabilities to contribute. So मैले यो दोस्रो पोइन्टमा चाहिँ के भन्न खोजेको त भन्दाखेरि अब नेपालीहरूको पनि यो 30-40 वर्षदेखि अब अहिलेसम्मको र अनि फेरि आउँदै गरेको पनि हेर्दाखेरि चाहिँ अब एकदमै पुरानोहरू चाहिँ राम्ररी यहाँ राम्रोसँग चाहिँ व्यवस्था गरेर बस्नु भएको छ। अब नयाँ आउँदै गरेकोहरू चाहिँ फेरि त्यो सुरुमा चाहिँ धेरै उसले सङ्घर्ष गर्नुपर्छ हैन। अब त्यो तिनीहरूको बिचमा चाहिँ एउटा राम्रो सहयोगको सम्बन्धहरू चाहिँ कसरी अझ स्ट्रेन्थन गर्न सकिन्छ छँदै छैन मैले भनेको होइन, तर वाट आई सी गोइङ अराउन्ड टकिङ टु स्टुडेन्ट्स, टकिङ टु पिपल हु हेभ जस्ट ल्यान्डेड एन्ड टकिङ टु पिपल हु आर भेरी वेल इस्टाब्लिस्ड हियर, आई सी अ रियली clear opportunity for better cooperation and interaction within the Nepalese community. यो दोस्रो च्यालेन्ज हो र अपर्च्युनिटी पनि हो। र तेस्रो चाहिने यो सेकेन्ड जेनेरेसन, थर्ड जेनेरेसन, भोलि फोर्थ जेनेरेसन हुन्छ, फिफ्थ जेनेरेसन हुन्छ हैन नेपाली कम्युनिटीको यहाँनिर। How do we ensure some kind of continuity of Nepalese culture and values in some way while at the same time ensuring integration and accommodation? So some of the literatures around integration, they actually talk about dynamic adjustment between diasporic community and the mainstream community. It is not just one-way process. It should be a two-way process, and this is very, very important when we actually consider our second and third generation. अब यो आउने नयाँ जेनेरेसन हैन, हाम्रो छोरा नातिहरू जो यहीँ हुर्किन्छ, यहीँ बढ्छ, अब उनीहरूले चाहिँ नेपाली भाषा कसरी सिक्छ हैन, अब हाम्रो चाहिँ जुन संस्कृति हुन्छ सर्टेन किसिमको त्यो कुराहरू कसरी उनीहरूले चाहिँ एडप्ट गर्छ भन्ने कुरा चाहिँ त्यो चाहिँ च्यालेन्ज छ। र अब बिफोर आई कन्क्लुड अलिकति अपर्च्युनिटीको हिसाबले, नाउ आई वान्ट टु टर्न टु सम अपर्च्युनिटिज। One is we need to do some research. Of course, I am coming from research background and I always say research is something important. But there are policymakers and community leaders who also see the importance of generating evidence, data and stories of what is happening on the ground. What sort of integration is happening? What sort of food habit is being adopted by Nepalese communities within their homes? How much of bread and how much of rice we actually combine in our daily diet, and how that thing is going to change over time. So those sort of questions need some kind of research. And the second thing is providing direct integration support, and I have seen an excellent program being rolled out by Department of Home Affairs, which is under the portfolio of our Honorable Minister David Coleman. That sounds fantastic program. And I think community groups like this can actually apply for their grant, which can provide direct support up to $60,000 per year. So that sort of resources is
our first objective was to start a Nepali language school in Penshurst. The community liaised with Sabdamala Nepalese language school and started Sabdamala Penshurst branch in mid-school term of 2014. We not only teach language, but also Nepali dance, culture and traditions. So we truly promote multiculturalism within the Australian society. We are very privileged to receive support from Minister David Coleman from the Nepalese government, represented by Nepali Ambassador for Australia, Ms. Lucky Sherpa. The program mainly focused on 4 issues. First, to address the need for a Nepali community hall or a building in this area. Second, to simplify and solve visa processing issues for Nepalese applicants in New Delhi. Third, to provide sports field with insurance and logistics for our youth and adults. Fourth, to organize student information session by Australian government for Nepalese international students. The first and second objective has been addressed. We are very excited and very humble with David's announcement of $1 million support for Nepalese community building. We hope we will be able to organize similar event like this in our own community building next time. Nepalese community also constantly lobbied with our state MP Mark Kude and Centers Council for a toilet in Poultry Port Park. The toilet has been built up this year and our community members and especially grandparents are very thankful to have this facility. Nepalese penshurst community members also support various organizations during natural disaster back home or here in Australia. A few examples to mention here. Our community members financially supported Durmus Suntali Foundation for rebuilding houses in an underprivileged community in eastern Nepal after a devastating earthquake in 2015. Similarly, we also provided financial support to National Innovation Center project in Kathmandu led by Nepalese scientist Mahavir Pon. We are happy to share that our community has organized several programs for community members, our children and grandparents. Some of the examples are healthy eating information session, oral and eye health information session, participation in multicultural events, sports, celebrating Nepali festivals together, and excursion for grandparents to Gokul Dham in Hunter Valley. We also received grant support from the office of our state MP Mark Kore. He was recently welcomed in a spiritual and yoga program at World Spa. And our active member Bhimsen Sapkota, where is he? Runs free yoga class for our community members every Saturday and Tuesday at World Spa. In a program organized by Nepalese penshurst community last year, Bhimsen Sapkota also extended congratulations to David Coleman with a certificate on behalf of the Global Society for Peace and Spiritual Science. Our committee members has been recognized with the Volunteer Award provided by the Banks and St. George Council. Lakshman Shrestha received Volunteer Award for Banks in 2018 and Hari Shrestha received in 2019. Similarly, Sambu Bhandari received St. George Council Volunteer Award last week for his contribution in the community. And that's the appreciation award provided by Nepalese penshurst community in 2016 for contribution to Nepali language school. And we are often invited in the NSW Premier's Harmony dinner every year, and these are the photos with NSW Premier taken in 2015 and 16. We still have so many events and programs, memories with us, which I have not included today. Overall, it was an excellent journey and a great achievement for Nepalese penshurst community. Thank you everyone for being a part of this journey. Thank you very much. And I would like to thank my friends Sambhuji and Vibhakji.
Wonderful program, penshurst Nepalese community. It has done, we just saw, so many exemplary work over the years. Particularly one of our important emphasized area, encouraging the second generation. Like we first generation migrant community, we always active with involving because that's the nature, it brought us here and we always looked for each other's company and all that. As we grow as a community, establish and move on, often we tend to forget our upcoming generation. As much as we emphasize in the integration of our community to the wider Australian community in the society, we clearly put that emphasis to integrate our second generation to our community that is ever growing. So Nepalese penshurst community has done a great job in that regard. Well done. Dr. Hemant Oza and Dr. Prakash Paudel and other friends made my job easier. I had a few things to say, but you have covered, so I'll try to squeeze to make it quick in the weekday evening. I'll understand that notion. Briefly speaking, I mean, this is probably the first face-to-face meet with Honorable David Coleman after the election. I was in Nepal in one of the past catch-ups. I missed that, and he's been a great friend of our community, as we all know. I've been that great encouragement, and that kind of encourages us as a broader community. Our community has always been a very positive role model. I remember the day 2006, April 28, we had Nepal Festival, very first time outside of Nepal. The community was smaller in size compared to today, and that was very first time the event of its size, scale and nature outside of Nepal. Now Nepal Festival is a brand everywhere in all major cities around the world, and in all capital cities in Australia it happens. And RNA has done a great job carrying that to that height and level. And even at the first time, at that time, we had very few businesses, Nepalese community businesses. And 15,000 people in excess of that we had in one day in that Temple Park. We never imagined that would happen when we started thinking and imagining that event. And we had guests from different segments of the community, different diplomatic corps, a representative from New South Wales government, federal government, and they were amazed. We never saw that many people from one community in one place, let alone those bigger like India and China communities. Even we were, they were amazed. That tradition has only grown. That tradition has not only grown in Sydney, but all major capital cities of Australia and around the world. Not only that, that is only a symbolic event. We are not talking about just one that, but it has spread so many other things, like its positive wings. The NRA has taken the lead role in the diaspora, which continues to grow and now estimated in excess of 8 million, spread over 82 countries. We have formal representation, country chapters in 82 countries. Australian chapter happens to be one of the very vibrant one. We have professionals, we have scientists, we have academic, we have intellectual people, community, we have business people, exemplary entrepreneurs, and we have these people with great heart who are always giving. And similarly, we have encouraged so many other countries, the diaspora, people of Nepali origin in so many other countries in many ways. And RNA runs, we did, when Sesh Gandhi, he was global president of our NRN Global. He happens to be from Australia. He became two-time president, and then at that time, we started this new thinking, redefining our diaspora movement. We called it Vision 2020 and Beyond. And it has got so many fantastic aspects on it. One of them is NRNA Academy. NRNA Academy to attract all these cream brains from our diaspora within all over Australia and around the world. Policy Institute to be able to advise governments in those worthy issues where they need to act swiftly, and it could be about the community, it could be about the diaspora, it could be about lobbying, it could be about the government issues, and so forth. The NRNA Academy, the concept of that is the skill, knowledge, innovation, the transfer from one point to the other. We have given so much effort from those places to Nepal. Not only that, now the emphasis, our redefining effort, focus is wherever we're living in Australia. Let's focus here, between our communities, within our second generations, how to bring them up, they are already integrated into the society, but how we as the first generation can integrate more, how we can add value. Adding value to the community, Dr. Rosa shared some light already with facts and figures. I don't need to mention that. Less than 2% is our Nepalese community's unemployment rate at the moment. We should be proud of that, and we should encourage to make it even close to zero compared to the national average of around 5%, around that. That speaks for itself. Our community didn't happen overnight, of course. A lot of people that came before us, and in the old days, they have put their effort, hearts and minds to set up the community. They have added value in many ways. They have helped each other. They have picked up people from airport and then kept in their homes for 3 months to nurture into the Australian community, to integrate them before they go out and to start living and working by themselves. They've done a lot. And that's what the result today. We are one of the vibrant communities. We've been recognized in different platforms, in federal level, in state level, in community level. Our young generation is doing fantastic in the academic world, in the schools, in colleges, in universities, in sports. And that's what we want to see. And that's what the NRNA organization, the global movement, it is like think global, act local. We participate encourage, involve all our local activities. That's how it builds the global platform. Global is more like virtual type of thing. We meet mostly in the virtual environments using technologies of today, and then face-to-face. Of course, we just came back from Kathmandu. Many of us were there. It is like you can't imagine the excitement, the crowd. 4,000 people from all over the world, and then they are leaders of the leaders, this type of people, and the government participates. Government is one of the hosts for that diaspora big event every 2 years in there. So the diaspora continues to prosper. We have our friends, politician friends, like Honorable David Coleman, and then we have newly appointed ambassador, His Excellency here. He's got a very good reputation. A lot of friends said, "Oh, you got this ambassador. He does this, he does that." Wealth of experience. So we're expecting a lot. The bar is high, and then we have our Consul General, who has been always out there for everywhere. He hardly misses any events like this. So as a community, let's celebrate this. Thank you for acknowledging the success of our own people, and thank you Nepalese community, thank you Lashmanji and his team, thank you everyone for
I really like to congratulate Lashmanji for your insight and giving this opportunity. First thing, I would like to congratulate the organizers and express my gratitude for the opportunity to address in this very hours program. I would like to congratulate the Honorable Minister David Coleman for ascending to his high office again, although I have personally congratulated him in different occasions, and this is really formally. I am very pleased to congratulate you formally in this very your own place. It is a pride, Honorable Minister for Nepalese community, and of course a pride for Australia to have a balanced, thorough and diligent minister like yourself to lead the ministry. I had an opportunity to work together with yourself in your leadership to raise funds during the difficult time, during the devastating earthquake. David Coleman is the person in first arranged fundraising program in his area, and it was really great. That was the time really as a friend in need is friend in need. So you are really a good friends of Nepal, and definitely you are nurturing our Nepalese community very well. I really like to congratulate you again. Manakesi, I would like to really congratulate you again for the Nepalese diaspora, because we need visionary person like yourself in the diaspora. Really, we need diaspora. We need to take in different level, and we really believe you can do it. NRNA is a great organization. I am proud to be a founding member of this very great organization. I wish you both the great success for your tenure, both Manaji and Coleman. I would also like to congratulate His Excellency Mahesh Raj Dahal, Nepalese Ambassador to Australia, for formally assuming his high office and for his first ever public program together with Australian Minister. This is the beginning of a chapter of our chapter to further strengthen our long-standing friendship of our two countries. Nepal and Australia will soon be celebrating its 60th anniversary of diplomatic ties. Nepal has declared the year 2020 as a year of tourism. Nepal has huge tourism potential, however, it is grossly underutilized. We wish all athletes to turn that around and double the tourism flow from Australia in 2020 to meet our target of around 2 million per year, which is still very conservative target compared to many similar or smaller countries like ours. Besides, Nepal has so many things to see. Mount Everest, birthplace of Gautam Buddha, Sita is the only few, but you can see the people there is how happy and how good, and our culture is really something to see beside those mountains and all these things. In this regard, I would like to propose high-level delegation led by minister to Nepal with relevant tourism industry expert and investor as part of the 60th anniversary celebration. This is our request. Nepal has not yet had the opportunity to welcome high-level Australian delegates so far. Nepal has enormous opportunity for investors as well. Our strong government with a 2/3 majority has proven to be very stable in recent years and has paved the way for foreign direct investment with one window policy. There are a lot of opportunity, and I'm sure the Australian investor has good opportunity. I'm confident in Nepal's promising future and growth potential and would like to emphasize this opportunity that must be seized by our Australian business friends. On a different note, I would like to inform you that Nepal has recently been facing border issues with our southern neighbor. I'm confident that this issue will be resolved amicably, as it could be a technical error on their part. We believe so. However, I feel that our good friends like yourself should be involved in for future reference, and if there are any issues that need to be brought to the international arena, we would really like to get your support for this, because these days we as a very sovereign country, we don't want it to encroach somebody, and we cannot tolerate encroach by somebody else. However, we are always very peaceful country. We are people from the country of Lord Buddha. We prefer peaceful way to settle everything. We really wish that we don't need to go further than that. So this is just for your information. Last but not least, our government has declared 7 January 2020 to formally launching of Visit Nepal 2020 worldwide to promote Nepal. Nepal Embassy, together with Honorary Consulate General Office and our Nepalese community organizations like Lakshmanji and all this Nepalese organization, has set to launch in Sydney too. I would like to request the Honorable Minister for your gracious presence during the launching of Visit Nepal 2020, which is scheduled on the 7th of January 2020 in the city of Sydney. I have met the Councillor of City of Sydney yesterday, and I have spoken with the City of Sydney for their support to promote us, including the venue, and I will update you the progress and kindly request you to save your date. We really need your support on that, so I just take an opportunity to and these things. I really like to again like to thank you for organizing such a August program. This is very very timely and very appropriate, and especially our Excellency also here, and this is good opportunity to meet with honorable ministers, and thank you very much. Our relations, people to people and diplomatic relations will further strengthen, and we would like to work together. And as I request, we really wanted to see high-level delegates to Nepal during your visit. And another things, I don't know whether I should mention or not, while our good friend minister as a immigration minister, we wanted to see our elderly, our student getting visa from Kathmandu, not going, not visiting in the too far. So we are still working for that. Thank you very much.
To join you all the congratulating the Honorable Minister David Coleman on the victory at the latest federal election and assuming the portfolio of Minister of Immigration, Citizenship, Migration Service and Multicultural Affairs. I am happy to learn that, Honorable Minister, you are a true friend of Nepal and the Nepali community in Australia, and you have been doing much for the welfare of our community. As newly arrived ambassador, I am quite excited to work with you in the days to come. Friendship between Nepal and Australia is not limited to political relations only, but extended to economic and people-to-people level. We are thankful that Australia has been assisting in the development efforts of Nepal continuously for many years, which started even before the establishment of the formal diplomatic relation in 1960. Distinct centrally lands claims and everything that appeals to our case too, despite geographical distance between the two countries. We have stayed on unbreakable hold for 60 years now, and we are celebrating the 60th year of the establishment of diplomatic relations next year. After the successful political transformation, the country is back on the track for the economic activities, and the government is working with the vision of prosperous Nepal and happy Nepali. As in the past, we seek support from our age-old friends, Australia, and we look for an increased amount investment from Australia in different sectors such as hydropower, transport, infrastructure, tourism, agriculture, etc. Mines and miners education, health and manufacturing. This is the beauty of multicultural Australia, which has embraced thousands of Nepalese, including students, with open heart, and they are doing really wonderful in their adopted land as well. Our big diaspora has always become not only pride for the country, but the source of investment as well in Nepal. You all may know that the present government has sent all its emissaries with the major responsibilities of coordinating with diaspora. I look forward to working with you all, community organization, and each and every member of Nepali diaspora. We also ask for your active cooperation and collaboration in making the Visit Nepal 2020 a success in Australia, among others. Before I conclude, I sincerely thank the Nepalese penshurst community for organizing this wonderful program and letting me the opportunity to meet and interact with the Honorable Minister and with you all. I wish Honorable Minister all the very best and look forward to working with him in matters of mutual concerns. Deepak, our Honorary Consulate General, mentioned so many things: visa, students, the situation of the students, and other things. Just I talked with the minister. We would like to meet him another time. We take the time in from our embassy and took the very issues of Nepalese student and Nepali people. Already I had mentioned Hemanta Oja sir, the situation of Nepalese community in Australia. Thanks Hemanta sir. Would like to thank all Honorary Consulate General, Mon sir and others friends.
I want to also acknowledge the penshurst Nepalese community, led so well by Laxman Shrestha, who we've heard from earlier tonight. You know, I guess it's probably 4 or 5 years ago, the first time that I went along to the language school down there at Penshurst Public School, and it was very clear to me, really right from the start, that this community in the Australian Nepalese community here in the Penshurst area is a very strong community, very tight knit, and it's wonderful to see the depth of the relationships right across the generations, the grandparents with the kids, and the parents, and everyone so close, working together so well and contributing so immensely to our nation. I want to also acknowledge the Consul General, Deepak. He is a very hard-working Consul General. He mustn't spend very much time at home, I think, because he's certainly seen out at lots of events, and it's really good to see him here this evening, and all the very many other community leaders. Too numerous to name all of the different leaders who are here, but it is great to see you all. Now, as has been mentioned on a couple of occasions tonight, the relationship between Australia and Nepal is very strong, and it's a really important relationship. And one of the areas of many in which we see that is people-to-people links. So people coming from Nepal to Australia, Australians going to Nepal and visiting Nepal, and that has helped to bind our two nations. And the 50+ years of diplomatic relations is really a testament to that. And we see that as well in international students. So Australia's international education market is one of the most important export industries for Australia. It's up there every year in the top 3 or 4 export industries in Australia. It generates more than $35 billion in export income for Australia, and helps to employ about 200,000 Australians. About 200,000 Australians whose jobs are greatly assisted by the strength of the international education market. And of all countries in the world, the number 3 source of students for Australia is Nepal. Number 3 out of every country, and that is a great testament to the strength of our relationship and to the great efforts of Nepali students in coming to Australia and in gaining skills and in learning at some of the great Australian educational institutions. We do, as a country, have a very, very high standard of education in both our higher education and vocational education sectors. And it's great to see that acknowledged by students from all around the world, and in particular from Nepal. So that's something that's really important in our relationship. And it's also great to see the strength of broader migration from Nepal to Australia. Now, Australia is a nation that has grown immensely in its strength and over the years through immigration. We are an immigration nation, and as the Prime Minister often says, we're the most successful multicultural society in the world. And he's right, because here in Australia we welcome people from all parts of the world, not based on race or religion or gender or cultural background or any of those things. We welcome people regardless of any of those things. We welcome people based on who they are and on what they bring to Australia and the commitment that they're willing to make to Australia. And in the Australian Nepalese community, we see so many success stories that really embody the spirit and success of our multicultural Australian society in the professions, in medicine, in business, large and small, in community work, in community volunteering. In so many different areas, we see the Australian Nepalese community contributing immensely to our nation. It's absolutely fundamental to our country that people are welcome here to come to Australia to contribute based on what they bring, based on having a go, as the Prime Minister says. And we see that so dramatically as such a great example here locally in the penshurst Nepalese community. In the last 5 years, about 12,000 people of Nepali background became Australian citizens, which is a great thing. And each year we see many thousands of Nepali citizens visit Australia on temporary visas, and we also see a significant number become permanent residents as well, and embark on that pathway to citizenship, which so many millions of Australians have gone down in the past. So it's really nice to be here. It's great to see the penshurst Nepalese community just go from strength to strength. I feel like every time that I come to one of these events, there's more and more people, there's more and more activity in the community, and it's terrific to see the kids we saw earlier tonight learning about Nepalese culture, growing up as Australians, but Australians who are proud of their Nepalese heritage, and that's a really terrific thing. So Laxman, to you and all of the committee of the Nepalese penshurst community, thank you so much for everything you do. It's really important, it's valued, and it's been really good to be with you all here this evening. Thanks very much.
And David is becoming a really good friend to Nepalese community. He is not only a friend, he's touching our heart already. Society and your progress. So this is a wonderful occasion. So please, His Excellency will offer the Tika and then of Laxman. And I'd like to request Mr. Sammu Prasad Pokhara, community contributor. His name and fame, so thank you very much. It is in emergency or when it is urgent. Thank you very much. Likewise, Apurva Gautam, facilitating the community's students as well. So student, and she is also facilitating the community members, and she's really talented. Thank you very much.
बच्चा भोलि स्कुल हुँदाहुँदै पनि यहाँ बसिदिनु भएको र सबै हाम्रो निमन्त्रणामा स्वीकार गरेर आउनुभएको पाहुनाहरूलाई मुरी धन्यवाद। स्पेशली अनरेबल मिनिस्टर डेभिड कोलम्यान, महामहिम राजदूत नवनियुक्त राजदूत महेश राज दाहाजी, कन्सुलेट जनरल न्यू साउथ वेल्स दीपक खड्गा दाईज्यू, एनआरए आइसिसी भाइस प्रेसिडेन्ट मणि केसी दाई, नेपाल फिजी कल्चरल एम्बेसडर राजन आचार्यज्यू, उहाँलाई धेरै धेरै धन्यवाद। साथै यहाँ उपस्थित अरू इन्भाइटेड हाम्रो गेस्टहरूलाई पनि धेरै धन्यवाद। त्यसको साथै यहाँ आमन्त्रित आदरणीय कम्युनिटी लिडर्स, गेस्ट, अभिभावकहरू तथा पत्रकार साथीहरू, प्रमाणपत्र पाउने हुने सबै महानुभावहरू र उपस्थित सबै वर्गका व्यक्तिहरूलाई पिएनसी पेन्शर्स नेपलिज कम्युनिटीको तर्फबाट म हृदयदेखि धन्यवाद। अनवरत टाइम दिएर एकदमै कार्यक्रम सक्सेस पार्नुहुने हाम्रो पिएनसी पेन्शर्स नेपलिज कम्युनिटीको अध्यक्ष लक्ष्मण दाइलाई स्पेसली
Thank you, Hari Shrestha ji, for short time.